Hey everyone, welcome into the Irish NFL show. We are presented by Cassidy Travel, Ireland's #1 travel agent. You can search Cassidy Travel online now to get the best travel deals and check out our NFL trips on the website as well. Also, if you click the link in the bio on YouTube, or if you're on the podcast as well, sign up on that link for NFL Game Pass. Over 270 games this year that aren't blacked out. I'll give you an example right now. Raiders Chargers week 1, not on TV. It's only on Game Pass. Click the link, sign up. Really appreciate it, folks. Joined with the amigos here, Colin Cronin, Brian O'Leary, Mark Cockrell, as we have our season preview ahead of the NFL kickoff, which is this Thursday when the Buffalo Bills travel to Los Angeles to face the Rams. So the league's back this week, Colin. First off, how are you doing, man?
Very good. Delighted that we are at this point. We are mere days now from the start of the new season, and this is, the best time of the year. Also, the fact that week 1 this year is revenge week adds a little bit of spice to it.
You all set, Brian?
Oh yeah. Can't wait now. I mean, it's been a long off season, like any season. But the excitement of this game on Thursday night. As I said last week, it's potentially a Super Bowl rematch, and when I wait to start the season. And week one is always probably one of the best weekends of the year. I mean, you miss it so much, and there's some very intriguing games to go with it this weekend. You touched on the Chargers Raiders. That's a fantastic game itself. Vikings Packers. I mean, there's a storyline within every game.
And Mark, your Patriots with Mac Jones are on TV this weekend. You must be very, very happy and also excited.
I think I'm as bad surprised as you are, Michael. Most people are. I'm surprised the Bills aren't on, to be honest. But Pats Dolphins, it's a repeat of the season opener for both teams last year. And the Pats lost 3 in a row to the Dolphins, so that's not great. But yeah, look, I'm just excited for the NFL to come back. And like many households, mine is a divided and split household. In very short course, my wife will be watching strictly results show, and I'll be watching NFL in the other room. So that's how it works in our house.
The Bills are on Thursday, in case you're wondering, Mark, just in case you try and find them on Sunday. As we said, folks...
That might help. That might help, Michael.
Just because you done me the other night for saying about Ballsbridge, so I had to do that. NFL Game Pass, link in the bio in YouTube and in the podcast. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you're listening to this before everybody else, so well done. Give yourself a metaphorical pat on the back. There's my half Derry accent coming out there now. Let's start off. In this segment, we are going to look at numerous different awards or predictions ahead of the season. We're going to look at Offensive Rookie of the Season. We're going to make our picks for Defensive Rookie of the Season, Head Coach of the Season without giving away a Super Bowl pick, Bounce Back Player of the Year, Offensive and Defensive Player of the Years, and our MVP pick for the season. We'll start off with the Offensive Rookie of the Season. Colin, I know you're going to go first, but I'm going to make mine very quick. The Chiefs, Sky Moore, wide receiver. He's so fast, and he's going to be Patrick Mahomes' new best friend. 12 receiving touchdowns this season, and I think he is the Offensive Rookie of the Season. There's my... Let's see how quick that was. Easy.
Yeah, I can see why you've gone with him. Should be a great player and a great offense with a great offensive mind. But I am going to go with George Pickens because I think this guy could be a Hall of Famer, or he could be out of the league by Halloween. He is everything that you want in kind of what would you say? An unstable genius in many respects. We've seen him push over cornerbacks all preseason. If you go back to draft night, the way in which he was watching the TV, he has everything that you would want in terms of the physical skill set. He is not going to be bullied. And in Mike Tomlin, I think he has a head coach who can channel that talent. I think if Pittsburgh are to keep Marvelous Mike's record of never having a losing season on track, Pickens is going to have a huge part to play in that. And that's why I'm going to go that he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year.
God, we're following the same trend here because I'm also going to go with a wide receiver, and I'm hoping I'm not spoiling Mark's one. But Chris Olave, the New Orleans Saints first round pick, from what we've seen of him in the training camp, he is as expected. Fast, very explosive player, and seems to be already striking up a great relationship with Winston, and he's the kind of player that the Saints need. I know Michael Thomas is coming back this year, but they have been missing the speedster, explosive guy. And as much as he can do it down the field, he's also very good in the slots. So they've got essentially a dual receiver there. They can put him in, mix him and put him in different positions. He can play wide receiver 1 or 2, or go in the slot and be the third receiver. But for the Saints to have a successful season, they're going to need that offense to step up. We know what the defense can do, and I think they will with him there at the helm. He's already caught a number of touchdowns in pre-season. I expect that to quickly follow, and I think we'll be seeing him in the end zone come Sunday against the Falcons in the divisional clash. And for me, similar numbers around what Michael's suggesting on Sky Moore. I see 10 to 15 touchdowns potentially, and a great weapon for the Saints this year.
Yeah, while quarterback's the sexy pick and MVP is usually the most valuable quarterback award, actually Offensive Rookie of the Year is more egalitarian. Last 20 years, we've had 9 quarterbacks, 7 running backs, 4 wide receivers. So any skill position, still, if you're a tackle or things like that, you're not allowed to win the award, but at least it's a little bit more spread out. In fact, since 2013, only 3 quarterbacks have won the award. So not necessarily the normal course of events for this type of award, but it also makes it harder to predict. Maybe we're all a little bit influenced by Jamar Chase's exploits last year, but I too am going with a wide receiver to win this, but I'm not going for the same one the guys have. I'm going for Treylon Burks, who's gone to the Titans. They are undoubtedly a run-first offense. They will see lots of 8-man boxes during the course of the event. But let's face it, I'm not the biggest Ryan Tannehill fan in the world, but who else is he going to throw it to? They've traded A.J. Brown. He should get a lot of targets, a lot of deep shots, and therefore opportunities to show off all the skills that he brings to the table. So for the opportunities he'll get and that I think he'll deliver on, Treylon Burks, who's gone to Tennessee, will be my pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I was going to wait to the final part of this, but I think that someone's going to steal my thunder. So Defensive Rookie of the Year, lads, for me, Aiden Hutchinson. Has everyone here watched Hard Knocks? Yeah? Watched every episode? I've been really, really impressed. 14 sacks in his senior year in Michigan. He gets to stay at home. He's going to feel more comfortable there, and the Lions are going up this year, and I feel that he's a standout guy for me. I know everyone's talking about Kevin Thibodeau. I think he's like a second favourite. He's got that little injury issue. And he's also in New York with another rookie as well that may pip him to that as well. Let's see what happens, but Hutchinson for me. I think Hutchinson's going to have an absolute bomb of a season, lads. Like, I think I predicted the Lions to finish third in the division. Since we recorded that, I don't know. Dan Campbell's converted me more and more calm, like a priest trying to get me to go to mass.
Yeah, look, he's a great player. I think he will be a fantastic addition to that Lions team. My concern about him this year would be the players playing opposite and whether they have enough. I think you'll see a lot of double teams on Hutchinson, and can he overcome that on the NFL level? To me, I suppose Thibodeau's injury means he's set back a little. I think Walker will take a time to find his feet. So for me, it's not going to be a pass rusher. It's going to go to a cornerback, and it is going to be Sauce Gardner. He has all the confidence and swagger in the world, and he has the ability to back it up. I have concerns about the Jets on offense, huge concerns, but this guy could, we've seen Pat Surtain take the league. I think Sauce Gardner will be from the off, he is CB1, and I think he is going to make some quarterbacks in this league look very silly this season.
It won't come as a surprise that I am picking Kayvon Thibodeau to be the Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's been a long time since the Giants have had a real bright spot defensively. We're talking about Michael Strahan. That's the type of player he's been compared to. And I know there's a lot on the shoulders and a lot of hype, and people say rightly so. But this injury thing is not concerning in the sense that in all likelihood he's going to be back by week 2 to play the Panthers. And we, like you said about where you say with the Lions around the fact that what's on the other side, we do have other good players within the defense that are underrated. So I think there will be opportunities for him to get sacks. And I think Ujulari had 8.5 sacks last year in his first rookie year. I'd imagine that Thibodeau will break that and go into the teens. So it's probably a bit of a weird one in a sense because the season won't be good, but I do think at the end of the season he will be a bright spot and justify why the Giants picked him at 5. So for me, it's Kayvon Thibodeau.
So we're sticking in the first round for this because 18 of the last 20 winners of Defensive Rookie of the Year have been drafted in the first round. And it's probably handy because this season, of course, we had 5 picks all on defense for the first 5 picks of the draft. I'm going to keep it really simple. I'll go with the team and the player who were A, deserving of the first pick in the draft, and B, decided that he was worthy of the first pick in the draft. No one has a better opportunity to make an impact and to help turn around the franchise than Trayvon Walker. I agree with Colm. He's there was a bit of a concern. Would he be a bit rusty? Would he come back up to speed sufficiently? But he's looked pretty sharp in the preseason. Yes, preseason is different to regular season, but I'm banking on him to make an impact. Pass rushers do tend in recent times to be more favoured. Think even of Micah Parsons, like winning last year, a lot on the strength, obviously, of the impact he made as a dynamic difference maker when he rushed the quarterback, just as much as his great tackling and coverage abilities. So, yeah, we've all gone first round picks, but that tends to be where this award goes to.
The next topic is head coach of the year. Colm, who you got?
Well, if people out there watched our divisional preview shows, you know that I went with the Eagles to win the NFC East, and I'm going to continue on that trend. I think Nick Sirianni, I think Howie has done him every favor in the world. I think Sirianni last year to be a rookie head coach and get to the playoffs is a magnificent achievement. And I think sometimes it's a bit like Best Picture at the Oscars or Best Director. It comes after the fact. So I think that there will be residual goodwill towards Sirianni. I think they're going to win the division this year, and I think that he will be this year's coach of the year.
I'm going to go with Mike McDaniel from the Dolphins. I'm very excited to see what this Dolphins team are going to do this year. I know there's a lot of concern around Tua, whether he's the answer in the long run, but I mean, what they've done offensively, in terms of bringing in the players, it is that this team being a serious threat. And in our AFC East preview, I think I said that they'll run the Bills close. They won't win the division, but they'll run them close and certainly be in the playoffs. So I think he's going to have a great first season, and I think the Dolphins will be really aggressive this year in terms of trying to put up points and prove that Tua's the man. And Mike McDaniel obviously has come from the background of San Francisco, and he's worked with Carl Shannon. And I think we're going to see a very explosive and a very exciting Dolphins team this year.
Mike McCarthy? No, I'm joking. Don't worry. I'm not saying that. To me, I was saying about offensive rookie of the year, this is always the hardest to predict. I mean, last season, Mike Vrabel and the Titans took this award and, obviously then flamed out in the playoffs. So, as Colm alludes to, this is a little bit of an award like before the real meat of the pie. So you're actually making an award based on who you think is going to have the best regular season more than anything, or do the most with the least as well. I don't know. I'm high on the Chargers. I'm not sure they've necessarily got enough to challenge the Chiefs, but just based on the excitement that could be coming there, maybe Brandon Staley from the Chargers. But no, Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills, best regular season record. There we go.
If we're basing it in the regular season, I'm going to say John Harbaugh and the Ravens. I feel that they're going to walk their division, lads. And Lamar Jackson's playing for a contract that, as of the time of recording, he still hasn't got paid yet. He's obviously going to be paid, but the depth that they have, even in that position where they can put Huntley in for the crack, like Mark Andrews, their defense, their offensive line has improved massively over the last 6 months. So I feel that John Harbaugh is going to walk the division and take. I don't want to give my picks away for later on, but I think he'll take the Ravens far in the playoffs. And I think in the AFC, in terms of the regular season, Sean McDermott is one, and John Harbaugh for me is the one that just is over the line. I was going to say Matt Eberflus for the crack, but no, I'm not going to pick him. Bounce back player of the year, Colm, who have you got?
If I thought he was going to stay fit, you could make a strong argument for Christian McCaffrey here. But I'm going to say that even if he was to stay fit, and I don't think he will, therefore, I think the standout candidate is Allen Robinson. My Free the Chicago One campaign was successful. He now is in a system where the head coach is an offensive genius. He has Matthew Stafford. He is going to be free to show off his ability, and the league will be wowed as Allen Robinson wins Comeback Player of the Year.
I'm going to go with Jameis Winston, quarterback with the Saints. He played for the first 5 games last year. The Saints seem to be going in the right direction when he got that serious season-ending injury. They've given him a 2-year contract. I still feel if it wasn't to play out this year, they'd look elsewhere. I think he's going to prove this year that he can be the starter there in what would be an explosive Saints offense with the touchdown area, Olave and Michael Thomas coming back and bounce back. Is it bounce back or is it come back from a serious injury? Because there's quite a few with serious injuries, you know. But no, that's for me. I'm picking the Saints to go to playoffs as a wild card, and I expect James to be one of the main reasons for that.
If you want a wild card, I'll give you Marcus Mariota, who will have an opportunity to start this year and therefore could turn some heads. Michael Thomas and Christian McCaffrey, who I do think will stay healthy, or at least I hope he does for the sake of all of us as NFL fans, are definitely in the running. But guys, I'm going to keep this simple. One of the most explosive offensive threats in the entire NFL is actually coming back, having missed a lot of last season. Derrick Henry. He's going to get the ball time and time again. He's going to be back to his old self, and he will win Comeback Player of the Year.
I didn't go near Derrick Henry, Mark, because he's the favourite to win the award, and it feels like a bit of a given that he's going to have a good season, no matter how well the Titans play. So that's why I wanted to steer away from that.
It's almost like those bookies know something, Brian.
Well, James is the second favourite, so there you go.
It was good you bought in there because I was halfway eating the revel, so thanks to everyone for your patience, and hello to everyone watching this on video. Special hello to everyone on the podcast. This is easy for me. There's a guy, as Mark said, coming back into the league this year who is an offensive weapon, and on his day is really, really good. He's had a rough couple of years, and he's fired up for week 1, and that's Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, I think, I'm not saying he's going to blow the league up this year, but I think he finds his form from 2018 or 2020. He had 27 touchdowns in 2018, 26 touchdowns in 2020, and his quarterback rating was a 95.9, which means damn all to me in 2020. But I think if he can regain the confidence that he had in Cleveland, where there was times in that season where he didn't have a lot of protection on the offensive line and he was quite banged up, but he still found ways to move. The year after, he just had 13 interceptions the year after. He lost all his confidence. I think he's fired up. I think he's ready to go. And who knows what's going to happen in Carolina? It could be a terrible season, but I think they've got a quarterback. I can't wait to watch Baker play week 1. I mean, that game should be on week 1. Well, and it's not on TV week 1, and I'm not calling anybody out for that, but I can see why. Colin, what's the next topic have we got here? So we got the Offensive player of the year. All right, well, go on. I can't wait to hear this. Are you going to pick Russell Wilson, or are you going to pick?
I'm liking the fact that thus far, none of us knew who anyone was going to pick, but we've all gone in different directions, and I'm interested to see if that will continue. For me, I think this guy has come into the league and has had 2 absolutely incredible seasons thus far. I think he's going to take it to the next level this year. I think he wants to prove that he is the best wide receiver in the league. For me, it's going to be Justin Jefferson. Freed of Mike Zimmer and the era of fear, with Kevin O'Connell coming in and with Kirk Cousins being a good, if not elite quarterback, but Jefferson, the undoubted WR1 for the Vikings, I think he will show once again the caliber of player that he is. Plenty of yards, plenty of touchdowns. We will see him dancing in the end zone numerous times, and maybe on the stage as he picks up Offensive Player of the Year.
This probably won't come as a surprise. I'm going to go with Josh Allen. I think he's primed again for another fantastic season. The Bills are obviously heavy favourites to be in the Super Bowl this year and get over the hump of that 32nd fiasco last year and finally make their way to Arizona next February. And for them to do that, obviously Josh Allen is going to be key to that. And for me, we're going to see yards, rushing yards, many a touchdown. He's going to be very exciting to watch. First game Josh Allen. The NFL knows it. He's potentially MVP, the star of the league. So for me, it's probably a very obvious one. He's probably the favourite. I haven't even looked at it, but for me, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills.
I like to think sometimes the NFL likes Offensive Player of the Year to be you're not a quarterback, so we want to give you a little bit of a pat on the head. But, quarterbacks do win it as well, very often, as Brian alludes to. For me, Jonathan Taylor of the Colts, he has a lot of advantages. He is the rushing leader, obviously, from last year, going into this season, over 1,800 on the ground, adds another 360 in the air. But there's a lot of talk, he wouldn't have won it if Derrick Henry had stayed Henry. He wouldn't have won it. So how motivated is he by some of those words behind the scenes? He no longer has Carson Wentz, so teams can't just load up on him as the one proper offensive weapon on the Colts. So I think Matt Ryan's presence and maturity and leadership can only help him in terms of opportunities generally. And I just think the Colts have a very decent and solid team all the way along. Still invested quite a bit in the offensive line, very consistent opening holes from last year, and I fancy them to continue that pathway. So for me, Jonathan Taylor.
There you go. We finally agree on something. Jonathan Taylor, I'll try and add to what you said there. The thing I like about the Colts this year is that Matt Ryan isn't going to be under pressure to make all the plays himself. Yeah, he can hand it off to Jonathan Taylor, and he can try and play it different ways in that hybrid offense. Jonathan Taylor this year is going to break 2,000 yards. He got 1,800 last year, and his cap hit this year is $2.something million. Like, that is obscene for a guy that got 1,800 yards last year, and he can go on the cap for the next 2 seasons. Because the Colts are laughing for the next 2 years, and we all know, historically with running backs in the league, do you pay them a heavy wage? They're laughing for the next 2 years. If I was Jonathan Taylor, I wouldn't turn up. I'd be asking for a bigger contract at this point. I think he goes 2,100, 2,200, and I think that's what gets him to be the offensive player of the year. And I agree. I think it'll be a wide receiver this year. And I can understand Justin Jefferson, but I feel that the Colts are going to have more opportunities in the AFC South with the Texans and the Jaguars. And I've went against the Jaguars now. I was going to pick Doug Peterson earlier on there, but after what he done to James McCourt, no, I want them to lose every game this season. So, yeah.
Just want to make a quick point on Taylor. Yeah, Michael, you're right, like 1,800 yards last year, but he actually had 659 receiving yards as well, which was the most for any running back in the league. He's such a dual threat. And yeah, if Colts can give Matt Ryan the time, yeah, he'd be also finding Jonathan Taylor in that position on the outside, which would be really effective. Yeah, good call. All four, in fairness, are all very valid.
360 receiving yards, Brian. Wasn't that many?
Oh, okay. There you go.
I think he's had 660 during his career, so it's just he's pretty consistent on it.
It's still not too bad. It's still not too bad.
That's what I'm saying. It's good production out of the backfield for that as well. But I'm just amazed. 22 minutes into this, we're on about the third section, and the first people to agree on anything are me and Michael out of anything. I mean, like, this is bizarro land. The red kryptonite is out, boys.
Just wait till next Monday night. You're going to love me, and you'll definitely be agreeing with me then.
I'm surprised Russell Wilson didn't get a mention. I mean, for a comeback player of the year, because he was out for large parts of last season, so he would have been a valid selection.
I'm not sure what Colin's going to do here, but I'm just going to not talk about my team this year until about January and hope that it all goes well. Defensive player of the year, I've got 2 words for you, and I'm not even going to explain why. Colin, here we go. Aaron Donald, move on. There you
go. Yeah, great player. A man who is also able to sidestep suspensions as well as he can sidestep O-line guys trying to protect their QB. I'm going to go with Rashawn Gary. Maybe a little bit surprising for people, but I think the Packers are absolutely stacked on defense. I think their defense will be far better than their offense this year. I think with the cornerbacks that they have and their ability to lock guys up, I talked earlier that one of my concerns about Hutchinson was on the other side. I think the Packers will have players coming from every which direction, and I think this is a guy who has grown and grown as he has found his way in the league. He kind of struggled early on, but you saw him develop last year, and I think he's a guy who wants to continue to get better. We have seen defenses carry bad quarterbacks to Super Bowls, so there's no reason that a defense couldn't carry a really good quarterback to a Super Bowl. If it's to happen, I think he will be a big part of it. I think it obviously he's not one of the favorites, but to me, I think he could certainly surprise people.
I'm not going to go with Aaron Donald because we need to go with something different. Like, it's too boring when we go with the best player, the best defensive player in the league. I'm going to go with Joey Bosa with the 49ers. Touched on the previous show that we're all, well, with the exception of Colin, maybe we're all a bit kind of questioning what we're going to see from this 49ers offense. So I think the defense is a solid defense, and I think he's the kind of player that will step up and get them the sacks and get them over the hump in terms of making sure they're in the playoffs and going again with another serious run towards being in Arizona come February.
Aaron Donald's arguably the best player in the NFL, full stop. Unfortunately, voters sometimes get bored and they don't always reward that when it comes to offensive or defensive players of the year, and we've seen that many a time in the past. For me, Colin makes a great point about that Packers defense. It is loaded, and I'm not sure we dwelt on it enough in our division preview. I mean, you got Jair Alexander as the highest paid cornerback in the NFL this season by salary, who's sitting back there. Difficult for cornerbacks to break through on this category, though, because it's very much dependent on interceptions, and they can be dependent on if the quarterbacks even throw in your direction. So it's always easier to see someone in the front four or a pass rusher coming from the second level coming through in this regard. Micah Parsons, Darius Leonard deserve mentions. Micah Parsons especially. I mean, he nearly won Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie. But for me, I kind of go in that direction of what about the player that's going to show up on the bad team and keep them in contention where the defense is clearly better than the offense. So I'll give you two candidates to think of. Chase Young for the Commanders coming back and trying to assert his dominance into the league. He's shown flashes, so can he put it together consistently? And Myles Garrett, who at times has been up there with Aaron Donald as the most dominant defensive force in the NFL. God knows if Cleveland are even to survive for 5 seconds, they're going to need an extremely dominant defense during this season. So I'll flip a coin. Go for Myles Garrett, but a lot of love to Micah Parsons down in Dallas.
Chase Young will do very well to get it with him being out to like week 6 or something. But I agree with you, and I feel like he could come in week 6 mark and actually get it. I thought when you mentioned bad teams, you were going to like mention the Patriots player, and I was going to go, so you're saying the Patriots are bad. Anyway, let's move on to the MVP. I'll wait to the end. Colin, do you want to go first? Who's going to win the MVP this year in the league?
I think it's going to be a man who has won it before, but he hasn't won it for a couple of years. I am going to say Patrick Mahomes is going to be the MVP. When you consider what Patrick Mahomes did in a down year when he was rehabbing from foot surgery, and he still had 67% completion, nearly 5,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and everyone kind of went, oh, that was an awful year. It's quite startling. I think him and Andy Reid will have been scheming. And I think you mentioned Sky Moore earlier. I think he'll be a big part of what they will look to do there. I think as long as Andy Reid is involved, he is always going to make his offense and his quarterback look better. And when you have somebody who has Mahomes' ability and you make him look better, to me, with the schedule that they have, if he can overcome that and show, I think that we will see Patrick Mahomes take it again.
Tom Brady. Mark probably was going with that one. He just nearly had 3,000 yards last year, over 4 touchdowns, and people were saying he's dropping off. But there is a lot of question marks. In fairness, a new core, wide receiver core, and there's the challenge around what's happened to the offensive line between players retiring, serious injuries, trades. It's not what we're used to seeing with the Bucs. There's normally stability, and there's a new head coach. But so there's a lot of things that are up in the air, shall we say. But for me, I see Brady rebounding, and people then will be forgetting about this 10-day time off, to spend time with the family and all the other stories that are going around about that situation. So, and I expect to see Brady start quickly on come Sunday night in Dallas. Yeah, so Tom Brady for me.
I feel a little bit sick inside, but Josh Allen, the Bills, they're going to be probably the best team in football this year. He is a transcendent talent, and I think he's going to continue on dominating league. Rodgers, I worry about him having somebody to pass to, but if he puts up numbers with the wide receiver core he has this season, he's going to be very tough to beat, of course. But yeah, Allen.
Thank you very much for that. That was short and sweet. Yeah, the Bills are going to be really interesting to watch, and they kick off the season on Thursday night against the LA Rams. 9,350 passing yards, 69 passing touchdowns in the lads' first 2 seasons. Justin Herbert, MVP. By far. Incredible quarterback. What the hell is he going to be like in 5 years' time? Like, the Chargers have got like a 2.5 year window now where they don't have to pay Justin Herbert, and they're going to have to maximise it, and by God they have this offseason. So I'm really excited to watch Chargers. I think they'll go really deep. I'll talk about it maybe towards the end of the show in terms of my opinion on how far they'll get, but I can't wait to watch the Raiders Chargers game. I think it's criminal that game's not on television next week. Genuinely, I cannot believe. Like, I mean, if it wasn't Sunday Night Football, it should be on TV, and it's not, which is why if you go to Game Pass, the link in the bio, click the bio, and you can sign up for Game Pass. And I'm taking Justin Herbert. So we got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Tom Brady, and Justin Herbert. I'd say one of those 4 will win it, and it'll be interesting to see. Just a reminder, folks, that we are presented by Cassidy Travel. You can go to Cassidy Travel, search Cassidy Travel on your search provider, and you can go and book an NFL holiday. And tell them that we sent you as well whenever you do so. Give them an email. And we're also, if you click the link, as I said, below, NFL Game Pass, check it out.